Hey everybody, Pat Logue here with Tom Heist from the Heist Insurance office. Today we're going to be talking about coastal insurance and how it really varies from insurance anywhere else. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you, Pat. Great to be with you.
Tell me a little bit about your company and yourself.
Yes. I've been doing coastal insurance for 30 years. The company's celebrating about 55 years, and we have about 15,000 customers here in South Jersey. And I'd say 80% of our business is coastal business, which means we have very unique and different carriers than the carriers that are advertising on the Super Bowl. And our companies love writing coastal insurance. So that's a little bit about us.
So if I was a person who is just purchasing my first coastal home, Ocean City, Avalon, Margate, what differences am I going to first notice about insurance at the coast?
Well, you're not going to recognize the names of those companies. Two, it depends on what kind of home you're purchasing. Are you buying a home? Are you buying a condo? A lot of people are at the shore are buying condominiums. So you're going to find that the named insured is not you. It's the name of the association. The association is not going away and coming back with a settlement. You're settling, so you might need to provide proof of insurance that the association has a policy, but you're really just going to probably need an HO6 policy with a condominium. Whereas with a home, they're going to go through all the underwriting, make sure that the concrete is good, make sure that the roof is good, make sure that the electric panel's not rusting out. So there's some differences, but that's where we hold your hand and help make sure that you're providing the right insurance.
Okay, so you described basically a single family home and also maybe a multi-unit condominium.
Yes.
In Ocean City particularly, we have a lot of two-unit condominiums, commonly referred to as duplexes, but they are two owners underneath one roof, either side by side or top and bottom.
Exactly.
Explain to me how the insurance varies for that transaction.
So the master deed is the Bible. So the first thing we're doing is going to the master deed and determining what your responsibility is and what the association's responsibility. Okay. I would say 8 out of 10 times on a smaller duplex condo, the association is responsible for insuring all the interior building items, the cabinetry, the tile, the floor coverings, the paint, the lighting. So if that is the case, you may only be responsible for upgrades that have taken place after the original date of construction. Let's say a jacuzzi tub was built years later. You'd have to insure that jacuzzi tub. But the rest of those building items might be the responsibility of the association. Again, we help you determine what building items you are responsible for insuring. If you're in a high rise, the responsibility normally stops at the paint, and you would be responsible for insuring all the interior building items, the cabinets, the tile, all those things. So it's really going to the master deed, understanding your responsibility, and making sure that we do it properly the first time and not looking at it and having a lot of finger pointing at the time of a claim.
And the HO6 also covers your contents, correct?
It does. So it would be your interior building items plus your contents, your personal property, your TV, your clothes, the things that, I always say, if you can lift the building and shake it, what falls out? And that is your personal property.
Okay. All right. What type of, I'll get through this.
A little bit.
Okay, so that's the two-unit condo policy. What other policies is a two-unit condo going to need?
Yes. So if you have a mortgage, and 98% of the people on the island do have mortgages, you are required to have a flood policy. Today, there's even options with flood insurance. 5 years ago, we only had the National Flood Insurance Program. Today, we have private market insurers that are competing with the federal government. And by law, they have to provide the same amount of coverage, but because they don't have a lot of administrative expenses, oftentimes they can sell that policy for far less money.
Are you constantly monitoring that for property owners?
We are. And we found that a lot of agents will sell a policy and they'll go to sleep on you. Because we have so many customers and we have such a reputation in South Jersey, we are constantly reshopping insurance because company A might be a great company the first year, but the second year it might be company B or company C or company D. And when you have the volume of coastal business, you're constantly reshopping to make sure that your customers are getting the best value.
To this point, about 2 years ago, my local Heist agent did call me and tell me I could save approximately $1,500 a year on my flood insurance, unsolicited. I wasn't shopping it. I was with the National Flood Insurance Program, and I'm now in a secondary market, and very happy with the savings.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's a ringing endorsement that Tom didn't ask me to provide. Okay. What about if I'm going to rent my home, condo, or a 2-unit condo? What do I need to consider?
Great question, Pat, because a lot of people come in and they're like, hey, we're going to use this unit ourselves, maybe seasonally, and we can provide the liability for you, whatever scenario you have. But over time, sometimes people say, hey, well, let's rent it for the summer, or let's get an annual year-round tenant. And every scenario needs a different liability policy.
Okay.
So if your scenario changes, you really want to make sure you have a conversation with your insurance provider, because the policy you bought might not pay the claim that happens. Today, people are using Airbnb and Verbo, and lots of different scenarios are taking place. And I've seen people, shrug their shoulders and say, my insurance company's not protecting me. And you have to go back and say, are you having a conversation?
So a good point would always have a annual or semi-annual review of your insurance.
Yes.
Because maybe you were renting the policy and you stopped because you want to use it more yourself. That might be to your advantage to decrease your insurance.
Yeah, the insurance is always cheapest when you're using the property for yourself, and not in a commercial exposure of tenants coming in either weekly or monthly or seasonally.
Okay, so we talked about the difference between condos and maybe single families and high-rise condos. What changes, obviously your business is always changing, what changes do you foresee coming to the insurance world, and what's coming to light now with, and particularly I'm curious about inflation?
Yeah, great question. I would say today, compared to 10 years ago, we have a far better market. We have more carriers. 10 years ago, we had 1 or 2 carriers, and we were wondering, are they going to leave? Where today, we have lots of different companies that are competing for business, and competition is good for everybody. So we have a robust marketplace today. Because of storms around the country, carriers are doing more inspections. They're making sure that there's no cracks in the sidewalk, that your electric box isn't rusting out. So I would say that the properties that are in the best condition get the best rates. And you may be able to negotiate that with the seller to make sure that the building is up to snuff. So that's the first thing. Secondly, the values of the building. A building that was built for worth $500,000 2 years ago might be worth $600,000 now. So we are constantly using software, asking you what upgrades are inside the building to make sure if it burns to the ground, you have enough money to rebuild that building. And that is the cost of inflation. But again, we are watching that very closely.
Okay. And that's another reason you want to contact a local provider, and if needed, the Heist Insurance. Tom, how would our viewers reach you or the Heist Agency if they had any questions?
So you can either call the main number, which is 609-399-0655, email me at theist@Heist Insurance, or through the World Wide Web, heistinsurance.com. We've been here a long time. You'll see us on Facebook, and again, we're very committed to the coastal marketplace. And if you have unique questions or just looking at property, reach out, ask us. We'll help you to determine, is the flood insurance high because maybe the building is very low to the ground, or is you're going to have a very good flood rate because you're a little bit higher and have done some things to remediate against high cost.
Tom, thank you for your time. Once again, I'm Pat Logue. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have any Ocean City property needs, you can reach me at the information below. And take care, everybody. Have a great day.